So earlier this week, this happened. And hopefully you guys can see that, man. Let me know if you don't. Yeah? There were 4 gang members with alleged ties to a young slime life sentenced for ambush robbery earlier this week. So people who were allegedly tied to YSL were arrested. And one of these guys is an artist. Like, he's got several rap songs and whatnot, and they're saying that he's a member of YSL. Now, they might just be lumping them in there just to say whatever, but man, this is the headline. It says 4 gang members with alleged ties to young slime life sentenced for ambush robbery. Now, you see the 4 people right here, and the guy right here is supposedly a rapper. You know what I mean? So let's get to the story. Now, Cherokee County, Georgia, a man who investigators say is associated with young slime life, a Yarborough Park Crips street gang, is facing additional charges following his conviction for an ambush armed robbery in 2019. His 3 co-defendants were also sentenced. So how in the world did they get them from... Okay, so they're claiming that the guy, his name is A. Johnny Harris. They're claiming this guy is a member of YSL, but he's also a Crip with the Yarborough Park Crips. You know what I mean? Now, they're also saying that Yomani Harris had robbed somebody with these 4 people right here, right? Back in 2019. How did they pin him to a 2019 robbery, ambush robbery? Is this YSL Woody's work? You know what I'm saying?
Bruh.
It sounded like YSL Woody was out here working, bruh. Maybe somebody in their crew doing something too, man. But look, the story continues by saying this. It says, a Johnny Harris was charged with conspiracy to commit influencing a witness in violation of the Street Gang Terrorism and Prevention Act in January after evidence of a phone conversation was discovered. How did they find evidence of a phone conversation? I bet you everybody who's a rapper after this YSL Little Woody situation is going to be looking at their crew a whole different way, man. Trying to sniff out like a bloodhound who in the world might be snitching. Because some of this stuff can't be proven without help. Like, there is no way. And to be real, a 4-year-old armed robbery comes up at the same time that YSL is on trial for a RICO.
Bruh.
I ain't saying nothing. I'm just putting it out there. You feel me? And one other point that was made. One of his charges is violation of the Street Gang Terrorism and Prevention Act. Remember, like, man, I don't even want to go here, but man, let's keep it real. If you out here and you're on file as a member of a street gang, you're actually being looked at through that lens. You're actually your name's being submitted, sent up. Charleston White has said this. This isn't anything new. This is what Charleston White has said. Like, yo, it's not what you think it is. You know what I'm saying? So you can catch an additional charge for that. In California, it's always been like that. There's always been a gang enhancement. But other states are starting to catch on and do gang enhancements as well where they didn't before. But because gangs is a situation nationwide, it is what it is, right? Now, the story continues by saying this. Investigators say while Harris was Cherokee County Adult Detention Center, a call between Harris and another person was intercepted. In the conversation, Harris mentioned a letter with instructions regarding the armed robbery victims, investigators said. So, okay, they're saying they interrupted his conversation over a jail phone. Heard that before. Didn't believe it then, kind of believe it now. I mean, it's a possibility. But cats usually know not to say too much over the jail phones, but maybe he didn't. Now, Cherokee County deputies executed a search warrant searching for the letter, which they found. Investigators said it provided personal details of the armed robbery victims, along with the plan to threaten, bribe, intimidate, and prevent the victims from testifying against him. Now, they're saying that the letter told him all that, like said all that. Like, yo, we need to bribe, threaten these people, intimidate them. That's a lot, man. But also it says this in quotes. Johnny Harris not only failed to take responsibility for his actions, but also worked to circumvent the system by using his status in the gang to intimidate and threaten the victims in this case. If not for the actions of law enforcement in collaboration with members of the district attorney's office, remember that, this could have resulted in further harm to the victims, said Assistant District Attorney Megan S. Hurdle, who prosecuted the case on behalf of the state. Now, they're also being loosely lumped in with YSL. They're being said that this guy right here is a YSL member or affiliate, and that he's also a member and affiliate of the Yarborough Crips. In quotes, it continues by saying, this jury, through its verdict, and this court, through its sentence, have shown our community that they will not be intimidated by criminal street gangs in Cherokee County. Now, I am not too familiar with Cherokee County, but they are putting out a lot of images here of Mr. Harris where it looks like he's a gang member. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't mean that he is, but that's what it looks like. Now, it goes on to say the 4 sentenced for ambush armed robbery at Cherokee County apartment. Harris was one of 4 people who were convicted in an ambush robbery that happened on the evening of July 23rd, 2019, along with Dorian McKinley, Jaden Hickman, and Rachel Merrick were arrested the next day. So I'm assuming that's all 4 of these people right here. You know what I mean? And I don't know, they look like they would never have been caught, you know? Interesting. Now, prosecutors say that Merrick invited a man she knew. Oh, here go the setup. All they do is log in. Remember this part. Log this into your memory. Prosecutors say Merrick invited a man she knew over to Cherokee Summit Apartments on Megan Court for an alleged party. He and his friends were let into the apartment just after 10:30 p.m. Now, how many times have we seen that they've used a chick or a girl to set somebody up and get them set up for a robbery, man? It seems like common practice, and dudes still keep falling for this, bruh. Nah, even better than that. Let's do this.
You're a victim.
Facts, man. Like, bruh, if anything seems sketchy, like a party at a house, you pull up, it ain't no music playing. Like, dog, this might be a setup. If I was in Atlanta, I wouldn't go to no house parties. LA it's a little different, but yo, nah, man, I wouldn't play like that. Now, he and his friends, they went to the apartment at 10:30. Harris, who was waiting outside in the parking lot with a rifle in a guitar case, would storm into the apartment moments later, pointing the rifle at them. Hickman would join him, putting a gun at them. Meanwhile, McKinley took a wallet, cell phone, headphones, and shoes from the pair. So 2 guys showed up on a mission, you know what I'm saying? So they pull up to the crib, think they're going to be hanging out with some chicks, and that's where they said Harris allegedly jumped out and put the gun to him, you know what I'm saying? And actually said, nah, give me your stuff, took their shoes, headphones, cell phone, wallet, and all that. Now, all 4 would be taken into custody the next day. Kennesaw police say they were aware of the 3 suspects. All 3 were able to plead down their sentence, with Henley, 21, and Hickman, 22, sentenced to 20 years with 10 years to serve in prison, and Merrick sentenced to 20 years with 5 years serve in prison. What? Bruh, they threw the book in them.
Bruh.
20 years? Sentenced to 20 years with 10 years to serve in prison? And 20 years with 5 years to serve? Now, I know this is state level, so they'll probably be out way earlier than that. But still, they're going to have to carry that 20 other years in probation. Georgia would be wilding with that probation status. Imagine being on 20 years probation. You have to walk on eggshells for 20 years, bruh. Ain't no way. You gonna end up back in jail, bruh. Like, you gonna do something. Like, something's gonna happen, because you're in a situation where you gotta go back outside. Get back into society, and you have lower job opportunities because you're a convicted felon. And you have to deal with the fact that, you live in Atlanta, people know you about your past crime, all sorts of stuff. Wow, man, I see why there's a revolving door. Now, Harris, 22, was convicted for violating the Street Gang Terrorism and Prevention Act, armed robbery, aggravated assault, and possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. He was sentenced on December 20th, 2022 to 60 years, with the first 30 years to serve in prison and remainder on probation. Wow, his life is over. At 22 years old, he just got he got sentenced to 30 years. Bruh, he won't be getting out of jail until he's 52. Given that people live until like 80-something now, that's still long enough to have about 30 years of life left. But yo, that's way behind the power curve when you're coming out as a felon. And regardless, he's got 60 years of probation. I'm hoping Young Thug is taking notice because these guys in the headline says that they're Young Slime Life affiliates. And dude ended up getting all this time tossed at him, man. This is crazy. 60 years with a 30-year sentence having to be served? Let's just cut that in half, says he does 15. All right, he gets out, he's 37. All right, you can move and shake at 37. I'm not too much of a pessimistic person to think that. 37, you can move and shake. But man, still having that 60, the rest of those 60 years on probation, that's crazy, bro.
Bruh.
They ain't playing in Georgia. They are not playing. Hey, kids, stay away from crime, bro. Stay away from crime, bro. It is not worth it. You can get on social media, make you all sorts of money. Internet, ways of making money today. You don't even have to leave your house, remote jobs. Do not do crime, man. Please, man.
Bruh.
You know what I'm saying? But yo, man, do not, man. Leave the streets alone. That's a dead game. You know what I mean? Like you said, now states are picking up Street Gang Terrorism Prevention Act. They're using that as like a gang enhancement. Same thing that they do in California. Now you do something, it gets enhanced. This dude was allegedly the leader of this. So he got 60 years for armed robbery. Think of that. All he got was a wallet, cell phone, headphones, and a pair of shoes. Probably robbed some square kids, some normal kids. And I hate to say square, but probably some good kids, you know? They just probably thought they was on a 2-man mission about to go mess with some shorties. Ended up getting robbed, dog. So it's a lose-lose situation for everybody because you ain't need to rob them dudes. You feel me? And now with the technology today, you're going to get caught, man. And they put you in Young Slime Life. I know if you look at this sentence and think about what Young Thug is probably going to get, I don't think, man, they might hit Young Thug with an L, bro.
Bruh.
And when I mean an L, I'm talking about that life.
Bruh.
They might hit Young Thug with that L, bro. This dude just got 60 years. Y'all hear what I'm saying, y'all. 60 years with the first 30 years to serve in prison. At 22 years old. Young Thug, I believe, is what, 31, 32 or something like that? They probably gonna hit him with that L, bro. Now, following the verdict, he entered a guilty plea to conspiracy to commit influencing a witness and other gang charges on the additional charges. He was sentenced to 20 years for these charges to run concurrent with the other case. So that means it's not an additional, it just runs at the same time for those, you know what I mean? Yeah, Georgia ain't playing around, man. They want Atlanta back to the old Atlanta, where everybody used to go out there, live their life, thrive in a successful community, have fun, go to Lenox Mall, no shootings. They want that back, obviously. And I don't blame them because that Atlanta, that old Atlanta, was amazing. You know what I'm saying? Talk about black excellence. I couldn't say it much more. You know, it was amazing to see. And they doing the most because they got this act that they're using. And if you belong to any type of group, they tied him to YSL like that. They hit him with 60 years, man. So when you look at it, it almost makes you understand why Gunna and the rest of those cats with YSL took those plea deals. They got to go home and just on probation, even though their probations were like 20 years, 10 years, 5 years. Bruh, that's better than doing a 60 and 30. Forget that. And they probably gonna hit Young Thug with a 60 and 30 just like they did this dude, man.